Just wherever.
Just wherever.
I know.
Just be comfortable.
Sometimes when I'm talking, I'll do this.
I was actually watching ESPN the other day, and these guys were like, I feel like the pro stance is like one arm out, like this, and like as he was saying it, you look at the other three guys, and they're all like this, like their eyes, and like the other guys were all like this, and he called them out, and they're all like, oh yeah, that is totally the like expert stance, just like casual but like authoritative.
How do you do it if you're in the middle though? Do you go
That's
this way?
you're
Or do you go this way?
You're
you
gonna
do
vent
both?
to yourself.
That's
All
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Keep Up Show. I'm your host, Ethan Springston, along with my co-host, Kevin Yin. And today I am really excited because we have a special guest on, Peter Margaritis, who, if you don't know who he is, a lot of things on the back end of Wilderness Athlete run because of him. And he's been a mentor of mine since I first started here almost 9 years ago now. So he's a really big deal for me. But the reason he's here today, got done with his first hunt ever last fall. And we're wanting to hear his story and hear him talk about it. So I want to have Peter take it away from here. And
Well, tell us, Peter. Like, first introduce yourself.
Yeah,
what do you
introduce
do
yourself.
for Wilderness Athlete? Like, what's your what's under your purview here at the company?
That is a tough question. Like you guys know, we all wear a lot of hats. I have been in charge of marketing. I've done everything from photography to web design over the years. Now my main focus is growth. So overseeing all of marketing, all of design, and just making sure that all leads us towards where we want to go.
Digital ads, the things that annoy people in your feed.
Yep, follow you around the internet everywhere you go.
Email cadence.
Yep, all that fun
it's all
stuff.
his fault.
Apparel
It's
as
me.
well.
Apparel,
as well.
yep,
So if you
doing
don't like the
that.
hats and shirts, blame Peter.
That's my fault.
Yeah.
Yep. Terrible design eye. So that's what I get to work on a
Actually,
daily
what did you go to
basis.
college for?
For design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What wasn't it a specific type
No,
of design?
it was design studies
I thought
was
it
the actual
maybe,
degree.
It was an exterior design.
Nope, it wasn't.
was.
Nope, I did take some interior design classes.
We always tease him about that because
But
when we first started here, he was the only guy that really didn't have any like hunting background, and not only that, but he studied interior design, and we were like, oh, this guy. But it's come in handy, like on more than one occasion, like. Very often does it come in handy, especially when we're lighting up trade show booths and stuff like that. So
They didn't offer architecture, so I was doing CAD, and that was the only way I could do it was take those classes.
Hey, you don't have to tell me.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all
But
right.
you do
It's all right.
come from a traditional sports background as well, correct?
Correct. Yeah, my dad was a college basketball coach. I played sports my entire life up through college. Just grew up in a gym. That's really all I knew. Growing up, I actually didn't spend a lot of time outside. My dad is from Greece. He immigrated over here when he was 9 years old. We were a city family through and through. It wasn't until high school up in Flagstaff, Arizona that my friends started taking me out on camping trips, doing all of that. That was my first introduction out into even just being out in the forest, doing anything outside of the city.
Peter in the wild.
Peter in the Wild. Yeah, exactly. But fell in love with it right away. And then continued school up at NAU for a long time. That allowed me to stay outside, got into snowboarding, more outdoor sports, mountain biking, things like that. Later down the line, got hooked up with this job, and the rest is history in terms of being introduced to the hunting world.
Yeah, it's really fun actually because when Peter first started, like I said, I think you were the only one here at the time who didn't really have any like hunting background, and you were thrown right into the fire with designing apparel and doing all this stuff in a very hunt-focused brand, where all of our copy, our marketing focuses, and even just the lifestyle of people around the office was very much about hunting. And it's been actually a lot of fun to see you kind of like gravitate towards it slowly, coming at it from like a curiosity standpoint, asking a lot of questions, which is what I've always really appreciated about Peter, is that he's not afraid to ask questions, which I think a lot of people usually are, especially in a male-dominated, arena. Guys don't want to sound like the one who doesn't know what's going on, or they ask too many questions. And I think for most people, like for me, it's like that's like the silliest thing. Like ask questions. Like we all start somewhere. We all build understanding and knowledge somewhere, and it's a shortcut if you just want to ask questions from people that know. So it's been a lot of fun to see that like natural progression. And it was like 3 years ago you went on that hunt with Ben and I.
Yeah. No, it was, I mean, to that point, it did take me a while to feel, I guess, comfortable. Like, there's a ton of industries, but hunting is definitely one where if you don't know what you're talking about, you'll get called out. There is, it's because there's pride in it. Like, people love what they do.
Yeah.
They don't want someone fake in there. And I saw that right away, and the last thing I wanted to do was be someone that was fake. So I didn't try to pretend to be someone I wasn't. Long story short, by the time I felt comfortable to go do all that, we did. We went on your hunt a couple of years ago. I got to tag along. I stayed out there for 3 days. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see you fill your tag.
It happened like the day after.
The day after I left, yeah. But great experience. Like, just sitting there glassing, one of the coolest things I've ever done. Like, I told my wife as soon as I got back, like, I can't wait to go do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, sitting around the campfire, getting up early, making a plan, all of it. I mean, I didn't even get to be there for like the climax of the event, but it was still an awesome trip.
Well, in reality, you were there for the best parts of the hunt. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, for most people, I can speak for myself, but I know a lot of guys that feel the same way. It's like when you kill that deer, that elk, or whatever, it's it's an accomplishment, but it's also sort of a like, oh well, now it's over. Now a lot of work starts. Now you got to break it down, get it home, and all that. But really, a lot of the hunt that's so much fun that people look forward to is what you experienced and what you really like sunk your teeth into, which I thought was really fun. Like for Ben and I, because Ben and I have hunted for a long time. To take Peter hunting on his first hunt, it's a lot of fun to take someone hunting who hasn't been hunting before, to see kind of things through their eyes and to have them ask questions and to kind of be excited to show them things for the first time. And it sort of like reminds you of all the little subtle things in a hunt that I think you often, when you do it a lot, you often kind of get, numb to some of that stuff. It's sort of expected. You take it kind of as it comes and you don't appreciate it as much. So that was a lot of fun, that whole hunt. And I remember vividly that like you were finding like 8 deer to every 1 deer that me and Ben were finding, and it was getting a little frustrating because we were kind of humbled. We were like, what the heck? Like we have like great glass. Peter had good glass too, but he was like deer, and we were we weren't keeping up. So it was a lot of fun. So we knew like when we it kind of charged us all to like, okay, like next year. And I don't know if it was the next year where we actually.
No, it ended up going. It was 2 years later. That it. I'm not even sure how it happened, but we ended up getting, or someone got the tag, and it turned into, or someone came up with the idea to go on this hunt. I don't remember how many people.
It was a snowball effect, as it often happens in this company. But like, it actually started with like we were planning to take a friend hunting from out of state in the industry. Right. He wanted to come hunt Coues deer, and actually he didn't even end up coming. But in that process of planning that, we started talking about getting this hunt together in the office, and it was like, well, I want to go. Well, I want to go. I've got plans. I don't have a plan. I want to go. So it ended up being like 8 guys that planned for this, that put in for this hunt. That all luckily, like we really schemed together the application and who was going to apply with who and how we were going to do it to give us all the best chance of drawing it. I actually didn't have a tag. I killed a deer in January of 25, so I couldn't kill another deer in the fall anyhow. But I was like, that was actually ideal for me. I was like, I want to be able to go and focus on helping you get a deer, just to be a part of a hunt and not have the pressure of having the tag and just help was really exciting for me. So, we ended up getting everybody. Ethan, you weren't in that pool, unfortunately, but you probably would have got a tag if you applied. You didn't apply, but it was a lot of fun. It was a big party hunt.
Yeah, it made everything leading up to the hunt that much more exciting. I remember when we all got our results and we all got our tags. For me, that made it real. It was like, obviously for me getting my tag, it was real, but it was like, man, I get to go on my first hunt, and it's not just my first hunt, but it's my first hunt with like 8 of the guys I work with, really good friends. Like, this is going to be awesome. Yeah. Like, it's going to be something I remember forever. I was more than excited when we got the results.
Yeah, that's always once you actually have the tag, it's always like, oh man, I'm gonna shoot the biggest deer in the hunt. It's like, it's crazy. For however many years you've applied for tags and you don't draw, there's some magic that happens, and the next year when you apply, your mind starts playing tricks. Like, oh, I'm gonna draw, and I'm gonna shoot a hell of a deer, even though you know the odds are against you. But that's always when all that excitement comes in. Now you get to plan on something you can really rely on. And that was a lot of fun.
I think for me, once I got it, and once I realized like this is real, what set in was, all right, I need to figure out what I'm doing. Like again, my first hunt, I've been on one, but like I got to get my rifle dialed in. I need to feel comfortable behind. Like I need to understand how to use my rangefinder. I need to get my dope card set up. Like all the things. Like the last thing I wanted to do was go out with a bunch of guys who know what they're doing and not be prepared. Like I know you guys are there and you're gonna help me, but like you're putting in a bunch of time to help me get ready. I need to put in the time to make sure that I'm not wasting your time also. Yeah. So that's when the prep got going, and I mean, we went out, we got the rifle all set up, dialed up. Yeah. We got to shoot out like.
How many times did we go to the range? Probably like
three times. Yeah, we started like, and luckily I'm lucky enough. I had a really good rifle that was really accurate. Like we were shooting out to 800, and I felt very comfortable behind the gun before the hunt, and that was my number one priority. Yeah, going out there, like, all right, I feel good. I'll feel comfortable with the shot. That's what I wanted to get done before going. Obviously, making sure I had all the equipment. I think I slacked Ben probably 20 times asking him for a list of everything I needed to bring. Yeah, but I didn't forget anything, so that was good, and I felt comfortable behind my rifle, so I was ready to go.
Yeah. Did not forget your tag.
No, I did not forget my tag.
Who's done that before? Who's done that before? I won't forget that. It was like 5 years ago, or maybe more. Yeah. Maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. I took me and Ethan and was it Dan and Doug.
Doug, yeah.
Yeah, and we go and pick Ethan up from his apartment, and we're heading out, and we have like a 4 hour or so drive. So we have kind of a plan on where we're going to be, where we want to go. And we've gotten about like 45 minutes from his apartment, and then Ethan goes, he's in the back seat, he's like, oh wait, you guys, we need a tag? Because like we were talking about this, and he was like, he's like, oh, you guys got a tag? And he was like his first, maybe second hunt or something, and so we had a quick conversation on the highway going the opposite direction of his house, and quickly had to turn around, and then it was a pretty tense like 20, 30 minutes you searching your apartment high and low, and luckily you found it.
I found it.
Yeah, that was a fun way to start a hunt. I'll never forget that. Oh, you guys have tags?
Like,
come again?
So, as somebody who's like a seasoned hunter, and like you're taking people out for the first time, like what's going through your mind, and what do you do to prepare that's different than maybe?
Oh, nothing really like prep wise. I like, so for example, like Peter, I think the best thing that Peter had going for him was he wanted to be prepared, and he was putting emphasis on being prepared, and he was prepared, as prepared as you could be, and that's really all you can ask is like someone who like cares. I really enjoy hunting with people for the first time, almost more than I do for myself now. Like it's really become like, if I get an opportunity to take somebody hunting, it's a lot of fun in so many different ways. But I think it makes it that much more fun when the person has a genuine interest in it for themselves, like an intrinsic interest for being prepared, learning it, experiencing it for themselves, not that person who's kind of like dragged along because it's an expectation or they think they ought to do it, which can be fun as well, but it makes all the difference in the world. So, and I think I tried to, like with Peter, I tried to toe the line between telling him all the things to prepare for and think about and have, and then not telling him too much, because there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of gear. There's a lot of scenarios you could be in. There's a lot of strategy and this, that, and the other thing. And, so much of it is like you're going to figure it out one way or the other at some point in your career hunting or in your lifetime hunting. And I think if I feared, like if I told him too many things, if I was constantly saying, you need this for this, or you need that, prepare for this could happen, that could happen, you're not going to get to experience kind of the organicness of a hunt in the way it strikes for most people. Like, and then you become too in your head, it's just too above the shoulders, and you're just like, you're thinking too much, and I think a big part of hunting is experiencing it, like kind of using your instincts, and learning on the go. That's a big part of it. You know, like we live in a day and age, and we hear from like wilderness athlete, Western hunter, outdoorsmen, constantly trying to educate people on how to go, where, what to look for, how to hunt, strategy, teaching, and that's great. It's great to have knowledge, but there's also, you know, a degree of like figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to say that in like a rude way, but like it's more fun to kind of learn things and figure out things for yourself, the things that you learned the right way, like your organic way, than having someone have told you, and then you kind of stress over it, then you kind of think too much about it. So no, I mean you know, I don't know. I knew we were gonna have fun no matter what, because we all know each other so well. We all get along really well, and we don't often get a chance to all go out and be in the field and do the thing that we talk about and work on, you know, every day of the year. We don't actually always get to go out and do it together. So I was like, well, this is just going to be a blast. So my only objective was, you know, just to put I felt a little bit of pressure. Well, actually a lot of pressure, because I'm the only one of the 8 of us that has spent like a significant amount of time in that unit. And so I knew, you know, I was deciding we were camping, where we were going to split up and hunt. So I was kind of feeling a little pressure that like, well, we better have a good hunt, you know, and at least have some opportunities. And I was trying not to let that distract me, but we did pretty well. So.
And it was Southern AZ, right?
Yeah, it was Southern Arizona, pretty popular unit. We were in 36B, which anybody who listens to this, if you ever hunt Arizona, I'm sure you've either hunted it or looked at it. It's a very, very popular unit because they put a lot of tags in there. There's a lot of deer, but you're going to hunt with a lot of people, and we saw that as well. There was a lot of camps. But I figured when we were trying to plan our hunt strategy that like that was our best chance of like getting all of us a tag, and it worked out. But yeah.
Well, we've built it up enough. I want to hear the story of the first hunt.
Yeah. Where to start? I was the last to camp, I think, or maybe it was Brody, but I pulled in the middle of the night of the night before.
It was like the Friday before it opened, I think.
Yeah. Camp was already set up.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was perfect. I timed it that way. No, I had to get some work done, so I took off later than I wanted. But got there, we got everything set up. We were good to go. Like Kevin said, we talked through kind of our splits because we had such a big group. We split up into 3 groups, made decisions on where we were going to go. And of course, for us, it was me, Kevin, and Ben. Kevin decided that our first day, we weren't going to take it easy. We were going to hike straight up the ridge behind us and go into kind of this canyon area where we didn't think there would be as many people. Less people, better chance of seeing something, and that was the plan. The other guys were going to drive off to some different glassing areas, and we were going to see how day 1 went. Well, day 1 was hard. It was
harder than it should have been.
Way harder than it should have been. We got up early. I think my alarm went off at like 4:45. We literally out of camp just started straight up this ridge. So within the first 30 minutes, like I'm sweating. It's tough.
You and Ben are both sweaters.
Yeah, we're sweaters. Yeah. Like I'm soaking through my shirt. It's 6 a.m. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. We're here. But we got up over the ridge. We got into the canyon. The sun came up. We saw maybe 3 deer all day.
Yeah. It sucked because the day before, the day Peter got into camp, you know, the rest of us had gotten there, we set up, and so we just like hiked up the ridge a little bit to glass the evening because we're like, we've got a couple hours or an hour or so to see if we can find some deer. And we did. We found like 3 deer. We saw 2 bucks. I mean, they were way, way far away, but we're like, okay, pretty cool. Like we've got some deer found. We knew who was going to go after those the next morning. So I was feeling optimistic, especially because the area that we were going to hike into had no roads. I know of a friend of mine who had hunted that several years ago, hiked way back in there, saw good bucks. There's water back there. There's, you know, all of the conditions that I was thinking, you know, should bode well. And it just didn't, you know. And, you know, there's no trails either. It's a trailless area. So, you know, you're talking cat claw, just all sorts of cactus, just rough rock, rush mesquite. and it was just not very many.
And
deer.
this is day one for you?
This was day one.
Day one.
And
Yeah.
on top of that, it had to be one of the hottest days on
It was.
record for that time of year.
Yeah, it was like I don't know, 80, low 80s.
No, it was low 90s.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got pretty warm. And, I don't know, for people listening who haven't hunted Arizona, like, especially in this part, it's not like there's a ton of shade.
No.
Your mesquite tree with a mesquite bush is like, you're lucky if you get something like this yay big. And so we were kind of like living like cattle and just hugging some shade as often as we could.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was tough. You did great, though. I mean, we all, it was fun because we just kept feeling like, well, let's push a little bit further. Let's look in this next draw. We'll find the bucks. We'll find the deer. And then pretty soon, it's like mid-afternoon, early afternoon. We had found the deer, and it wasn't because we were looking pretty damn hard. We were all running pretty low on water. We had 3.5, 4 miles to get back, and so we just slowly made our way back. But day one was kind of a kick in the pants a little bit because I was pretty hopeful on what that was going to produce.
Yeah, it was tough, but I remember walking back, and I was pretty beat. It was last light we're going through, and I remember just looking down at my hands, and I was all cut up and kind of bleeding all over the place, like some scratches.
Yeah.
Took a couple tumbles, just crawling up some stuff. Nothing bad.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, like, man, like it honestly feels good to like have something happen to me again. Like, I've been working in an office for so long, like so careful with everything. Like, I got 2 kids, like everything I do, I'm like thinking about like, I don't want to hurt myself. I got to do this. I got to like be careful. And I remember being out there like, this is what it's supposed to be. Like, I'm okay. Like, this feels good. Like, it feels good to work hard. It feels good to sweat. It feels good to bleed a little bit.
Yeah.
We weren't successful, but I was like, that was a fun day.
Yeah.
And I mean, sitting up there glassing with like 2 of your best buddies, the stuff that we talked about, the laughs that we had, like it was a good time.
In hindsight, like that was probably the best first day, right? Because like, had you had day one of your first deer tag ever, we hike up 30, 40 minutes and you shoot a buck, it just really wouldn't have, have given you the full picture of like what you can experience. So it really was the first day I think that we could have, drawn up. It was kind of fun. So we took a different route on the way back than we did on the way in. Not intentionally. We took a wrong turn and ended up hiking down this wash. But we weren't the only ones because we found probably 4 or 5 caches of water and more illegal like smuggling, whether it's drug smuggling or just people smuggling trash than I've ever really seen. But we found like 4 or 5 caches of water. There's groups of people down there that leave water for the migrants as like a humanitarian aid measure or whatever. But they were pretty recently left. Like there were some really fresh bottles, really fresh trash. And it definitely gave me more of a like, here I was thinking like, with things that are going on in Border Patrol, the level of Border Patrol agents you see out there now, far more than it was a couple of years ago, was feeling really comfortable and confident about where we were camped and everything. It just really wasn't on my mind too much. But then we walked this wash that was right behind our camp, and it was clearly a very popular thoroughfare for that kind of traffic. So that was a good little wake-up call for us. But we made it back. It was kind of fun. We made it back like right before sundown. Mm-hmm. We got to go just not very far and kind of met up with Pedram and Ryan and kind of caught up with them. So it was a good little end of the day.
Yeah, it was great. And then favorite part probably was the nights. Just getting back, and from the stories that I heard while we were out there, everyone hunts a little bit different. Mm-hmm. When Kevin and Ben hunt, they love to cook.
Oh yeah.
You guys, it's like going to a restaurant where Brody and Doug and Levi are more of the like, we're gonna bring some beans and some hot dogs, and we're gonna survive off that for 5 days. So suffice it to say, we had really good meals every night. I'm trying to remember, was night 1 the chili, or was night 1?
No, I believe it was. I don't remember. No, I don't think it was. I think night 1 we did.
We did the brats and peppers.
The big walk thing.
Yeah. But yeah, full meals, campfire going, got changed up. We had a big campsite. We had plenty of room, big tent set up. We were very comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, hanging out all night, telling stories, talking about our first day. First day was terrible for everybody though.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't the only ones. I don't think there was not a single buck that was spotted all day.
No.
Between 9 of us, 8 of us.
No.
So yeah, we were definitely looking forward to day 2, hoping that our luck would change. And my only request was that we would drive somewhere instead of hike straight out of camp.
We did a little of both.
Yeah. So I was sore. But yeah, day 2 comes. Kevin had another good spot for us to go. This time we had to drive to get there. We drove early in the morning. Our goal was to get up to this knob that we could glass right at sunrise. And I remember walking up there. We had a little bit of a hike to get there. Saw some interesting people on our way there.
Well, one guy. It was one guy.
The guy sitting cross-legged with the rifle across his legs.
Yeah. He was just sitting under a tree. He beat us there. He was already there. And he was just sitting under a tree, no binoculars, no tripod, just a little JanSport backpack, had his rifle just around just laid across his legs. He was just sitting there, and actually probably in a pretty good spot. Like, I would think that if deer were just kind of feeding, he was probably in a really good ambush spot, and that was maybe what was on his mind. But he kind of startled me because he was sitting there dead silent, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? So I hiked up to him. I didn't want to, like, totally ruin his day, so, you know, I wanted to kind of figure out where he was going, so we didn't screw him up. And he was the nicest guy, and I was like, hey, what's your plan? He's like, well, I'm just gonna hunt deer. And I'm like, oh yeah, man. Well, me too. Where are you gonna do that? Like, where are you trying to go today? And I was like, he didn't really answer me, and I'm like, yeah, well, me and my buddies here, we were gonna hike up this ridge and look back over this draw. And he's like, oh, well, that's where I was gonna go. That's where I was gonna go. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll leave you to it, man. Like, we'll go somewhere else if you've got this spot. He's like, no, man, go ahead. Like, free country. And I'm like, well, okay, I get what you're saying, but like, he was really nice. So. Anyways, yeah.
No, he was our first experience heading up that ridge. But yeah, we got past him. We hiked up. Right as the sun was coming up, so we were super careful as we got up to the top, just making sure that we wouldn't skyline ourselves.
Oh, you guys were. I wasn't.
Yeah. I know. I forgot. Yeah, because you came up behind us. Ben and I are like sitting there, being super quiet, crawling up, getting real comfortable, like getting real low to set up. And next thing you know, Kevin just comes like stomping through, standing fully up, just like looking at everything. And like, well, I'm glad I just spent 5 minutes like inching my way up here. But
my bad.
It was okay. There was nothing there. We didn't start on anything. But I mean, the area we were glassing was this huge, like, I don't even.
Just a huge face of this mountain. It's probably the tallest peak in the area.
Yeah. And we had a lot to look at. And luckily, I would say within the first 15 minutes.
It was like, 15, 20 minutes or so.
We saw 3 bucks.
Nice.
And compared to the day before, we're like, oh, this is awesome. So we see the 3 bucks, we're looking at them, but they were far. Like, do you remember what we glassed them at over there?
So they're way at the top of the mountain, and from where we were, well over 1,500 yards. Yeah. I saw them way up there, so it was obvious, like, we're going to need to boogie, and if we're going to make a move, like, we got to do it quick, because they were moving too.
They were moving, they were going across and up, and if they went over the ridge, then we would lose them. But we could see that there was an area just kind of below them that was our goal to get to. So we packed up all our stuff and just started trekking towards that area. And we were moving. We had a couple little canyons that we had to get through, but we got over there. Luckily, they stayed there. They were still facing us near the top, so we got there just in time. Found a decent spot to get set up. We were glassing one of the bucks that we looked at. We thought was the biggest one at that time. I got set up. I was able to get in a good prone position, and honestly, like, I wasn't that nervous. It was...
Yeah, you were oddly calm.
Yeah.
You were very, like...
Well, it was... I had been shooting, like, I was ready to go. Like, it kind of all played out the way I thought it would.
Yeah, it was very like scripted.
It was typical.
It was like everything that we wanted to have happen was happening. And it was like, oh, perfect. Okay, there.
Everything was perfect. We walked up, like the stock wasn't intense. Like we walked kind of quietly, but they were so far away and so high up that it wasn't like every crunch of the ground was going to do something. Like we got up there, I took my time, I got set up, I got in a really comfortable prone position. Like Kevin was able to glass the deer. We got everything set up, and we had time. Like we had both tripods set up. We had the spotting scope set up with your phone. Like we had plenty of time. So wasn't that nervous. Got set up. I think we ranged them right at around 500.
Yeah, it was just a little under.
And I got behind the gun. He was quartering away for a little bit. I think I sat behind the rifle for maybe 2-3 minutes before I finally took the shot.
Yeah.
He finally went broadside, pulled the trigger, and I mean, for me, I'm still learning, but like I couldn't see from that far away.
Yeah.
So take the shot. I hear Kev. Oh, I think you got him. You got him, because he's watching. I can't remember. Were you on the phone or were you on?
I was in binos. Ben
You're in
was
the
looking
Ben
for the
was
spotting scope. Yeah.
So Ben was looking, and take the shot. All accounts thought we got him.
We actually, the reason why was because we saw his ass over end. Like there was a tree. There was a tree. Like he was kind of quartering, and then he was kind of feeding right towards a tree. And so Peter took the shot right. You could see the full body and everything, but like when he went out of sight, he was flipping downhill. And so I was like, you smoked him.
Yeah.
Dumped him. And so that's what we thought.
So at that point, like everything went right. I was like Kevin's high-fiving me, Ben's high-fiving me.
Yeah.
We bring out the camera, asking me about my first shot. Like it was great. Like perfect. Everything went according to plan. And then we're sitting there, and I'm like, Ben, like there's still 2 more bucks up there. And even after my shot, one of them came back, or 2 of them were still there.
Yeah.
But there was an opportunity for Ben, and it took all of about 30 seconds for us to convince Ben that like there's a buck up there. We didn't see a single one yesterday. This might be your only opportunity.
Yeah,
Do you want to shoot it?
And Ben hadn't killed a coos deer yet. You know, so it was, and at first we had looked at these deer, and Peter was shooting at what we thought was the biggest one, and then they scattered a little bit, then they kind of came right back to where they were right after things settled, and then we looked at one buck, and I was like, that's not a bad buck, especially for your first coos deer. And Ben wasn't thinking, I'm shooting a deer right now at all. Like, that wasn't on his mind. We were focused on getting Peter, and then he was like, nah. I'm like, I don't know, man. He was like, well, would you? I'm like, yeah, I would. And then it was like, no quicker than I finished saying that. He was like getting on the gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Ben gets on his gun. He takes his shot. And now it's, all right, let's go up there and find both of them. So we thought we got mine, but we weren't 100% sure. So instead of just going straight up, we decided to go around over the top and over.
Well, we were actually, I think, close to 100% confident. We were going up there to find Peter's deer, and we didn't think Ben hit his deer. Like, we thought he missed, or if he hit him, it was like a low brisket shot. From when we reviewed it, we were like, well, we got Peter's deers down, but we're maybe going to have to look for Ben's. It may not have worked out anyways.
Yeah, so we go over the top looking for both. We find mine, or where I shot mine, and there are 2 drops of blood. Not even. It's not looking good. So I think what ended up happening with mine is I just gave it a little haircut. The bullet hit a rock right behind it, just scared it half to death, and it flipped on a branch that was right in front of it.
We looked for probably 45 minutes. It was kind of wild. We get up to it, and it's really steep up there, like really steep. We pretty quickly, I mean, like after reviewing it, we could figure out where that buck was standing when he shot it, and then it was like a step or two from there, we found like 2 specks of blood. That's it. But I'm waiting for like in a couple more steps to find bigger globs, bigger splatters of blood, and nothing. And we looked very carefully, very slowly for like 45 minutes or so. And we're basically at the top of the hill. We knew everything was going down. So we kind of spanned out and just sort of slowly walked down. And I remember even telling Ben, like, let's all keep our rifles ready because we could jump this deer, and we just kept looking down, further and further, and just didn't find anything. We didn't find any more blood other than those 2 specks. And so after reviewing the footage, we kept reviewing it. It was, that shot was definitely high. We think he just gave him a haircut, and when he flipped, it was just out of fear. Out of startle, out of losing his footing because of how steep that was. And maybe the blood was either rock splatter that kind of flesh wound him, or just maybe he hit his face when he tumbled. I'm not sure. So we start working down and down, and it's like that pit in your stomach feeling. I was feeling it probably just as much as Peter was, because I'm like, because we were all high-fiving. We were all like, dude, your first buck, congrats, Yeah. In the back of my mind, I'm always like, I don't know if we should get ahead of ourselves. But that pit in my stomach started to get real big. So I'm like, this is taking a while. We haven't found anything, no more blood. So we keep working down. And then Ben jumps a deer. And it ends up being the deer that he shot, hit it pretty low. It jumps up and he finishes it off. So a total switch of circumstances. We thought we had for sure Peter's deer down, did not, and then we thought Ben's buck got away, and that's the one we ended up, putting a tag on. But
it's like in traditional sports when I played, I'd rather lose by 20 than lose by 1. It almost feels like you lost by 1.
yeah.
And
that's
then
a good analogy.
Your friend gets it.
That's a good analogy.
What's
because I think the excitement too was that like we just doubled up.
Yeah.
Like we just shot 2
100%.
bucks. We were thinking like, oh man, we come back to camp, we're gonna be the freaking dudes, man.
Yeah, especially
2 bucks
day
back.
1.
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna have some cool pictures, 2 bucks. Like your mind starts going all sorts of places because we felt really good about it, and then it just.
Well, where does your mind go after that?
Well, I just kept looking. I was up at the top. They had already made their way down. Ben jumped his deer. I mean, Ben's already working on his deer, and I'm still just like, come on, where's this trail? It's got to be up here. And I stayed up another probably 10, 15 minutes before I was like, all right, I got to get down, help Ben. And I was bummed. I don't think it hit me yet until we started really hiking back down. And I was just thinking about it, and I was just going through all of it. What could I have done? What did I do wrong? And I was like, should we have ranged it a few more times? Was that off? Was it the heat? Was it
I think.
Why did I miss?
Yeah, I think. So first of all, a lot of people are going to listen and hear 500 yards for your first shot at a deer. That's way too far. And I would say 99% of the time you're right. However, every time Peter and I went to the range and shot in all sorts of scenarios, he was great. He was almost at will shooting steel out to 800 yards. I felt really confident. He felt confident. And then in this situation, he was in the best scenario possible. Flat, prone, had a lot of time to get a good rest. It was textbook. Now, what wasn't textbook and what I think probably happened that was tough for us to account for, and what we didn't practice was we were shooting pretty far uphill. And at that time of morning, there was some thermal shift going on. There was a slight breeze, and then even if without the breeze, thermals were moving up, and there was a ridge right behind these deer. When wind comes over that ridge and starts to come down, all sorts of, variables happen that is really tough to account for, and especially when you haven't practiced it. So, I think, because for all intents and purposes, you're talking about a Coues deer whose chest is yay big, and at 500 yards uphill, you missed that by maybe, if you were lower by an inch or two, he would have been dead. And so you missed it by a couple inches. And so in essence, it was a good shot. I think we just didn't account for some of the variables, and had that been a more level shot, or some of the thermals or environmentals were more stable at that time, might have been a different story. But If we could do it all over again, which we can't, which is always, you always wish you could do it all over again. We probably would have put some of those variables in consideration. It really wasn't feasible for us to get any closer or get to any different position. Any closer, we were shooting more directly up, and it really wasn't there. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I knew it wasn't the end. We were walking back. The funny part was, part of what we wanted to do while we were out there was get some content filmed. And we were getting stuff filmed for Black Friday, for different products, all kinds of stuff. And I am not very comfortable in front of the camera, but I was like pissed off, like trying to figure everything else out. And I was just like, Kevin, film me. I want to do an ad, like get my mind off of this.
Yeah.
So we're walking down the hill, and I just put out the 3 best ads that I've done the whole time, because I was just like, didn't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me through. But then we hiked back. We took Ben's buck back to camp, got working on that. And I think that was the only buck of the day.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, because we got back, we cooked up some food. Ben kept working on his buck into the night, and we decided the next day to go out to a different area. I mean, I slept fine. Like I was pissed off about it, but I was like, all right, we got tomorrow. Like we still had a few days. We had a lot of people. I figured we'd figure something out. And again, no one else has had any luck yet. So that part was kind of getting to me. I was like, man, did I blow one of our only opportunities? Because no one else really had a chance at anything yet. But go to bed that night, get up the next morning, and we drive out to, I think we ended up going to 3 or 4 different locations.
Well, we went to the same spot the next morning, because that was the only place we had seen deer. And we found those bucks so fast that morning that we're like, well, let's go give it more time. We might find more deer if we're out there looking longer. Mm-hmm. Not the case. Very windy. Didn't see a single deer.
Oh, yeah.
So we spent the whole rest of the morning and into the early afternoon driving around to all sorts of different spots, glassing different stuff. And again, it was hot. We were in the 80s. It's just tough, like early movement of deer. And then after that, they're pretty much bedded. So much like the deer, we were pretty exhausted by like noonish. We had made a big old loop, and we end up back in town. We stopped at the bar to have a little lunch, and we're sitting there just kind of figuring out what are we going to do this evening. And I remember kind of feeling like, I don't really know what the heck to do. Like we're going to have to go to a much different area. Like we had already hit a lot of the spots that I like to hunt. And then we're sitting there, and I get a text through the satellite message from Ryan. Ryan says, hey, are you guys nearby? 2 bucks down. And I was like immediately just excited.
Yeah.
We're over here sulking, hanging our heads a little bit. And then 2 of our buddies have 2 bucks down, and we were like, we're in business. Let's go. Heck yeah. So we're like,
we didn't get lunch.
I knew where he was. I know. We didn't even get lunch. Like we had just sat down. So I'm like, yeah, we'll be there. Like I know where you're at, because it sends you like a pin. So like we haul ass all the way down there, and like 45 minutes, we're basically to where they were. It was super fun. We basically hiked in, helped them with the deer, got the deer out, and it was kind of comical. Like I've got a little Lexus. It's a GX 470, so it's very small on the inside. And so it was me, Ben, Peter, and then Pedram, and then Ryan with all of our gear, all of our rifles, all of our packs, plus 2 deer that piled into this thing, because they were at a spot where they glassed the deer from. They basically dumped off this hill and took off after these deer. Ended up killing their deer, kind of ways in there. So we left their truck back to, where they started. Like we just drove all the way back to camp, which gave our whole thing new life.
Yeah,
for sure.
We headed back to camp, and so we have 2/3 of our group in his one Lexus, and we get back to camp, and it just happened that Levi and Doug were at camp too. Doug took a nasty little spill and was covered from head to toe. I don't even know what he was covered in.
I don't even know what that was. It was some sort of very sticky green twig thing. And he was literally I mean, just head to toe. He
So
looked
he's
like
just picking out every single piece sitting at camp.
he was wearing like a ghillie suit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so they were back at camp. We had just come back with the $2, so everyone's excited, and we're kind of just sitting around like midday, relaxing, sitting in the chair. It was hot.
I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it was hot. We had a little bit of shade that we
Yeah.
were all sitting under, and then we were kind of just starting to talk about like what we're gonna do. And I think it was Levi who said, "What if we all just mob together for one night?"
Yeah.
And we all kind of looked at each other like, yeah, that'd be fun. Like whether or not we see anything, like to have all of us on one knob glassing together, like you don't get to do that very often. So we're like, yeah, let's do that for sure. So we all drove out to this one knob where
it was where Ryan and Pedram had left their Jeep. So
Yeah.
we had to go back there anyways.
Yep. And that knob is a good spot to have that many people anyway, because you could glass 360.
Yeah.
There's a ton of land. And it's a cool little spot, and usually there's not other people there, and you're good. So we got out there in the afternoon. We didn't have that much time to glass. We weren't seeing a whole lot, but it was fun. Like we're all out there.
I even started to take a nap.
Yeah, you did.
I was laying down.
But it was getting close to sunset, and I'm looking over at this mountain over here, and I hear someone say, "Doug has a buck." And Doug's on the far side of this knob over here. And so he has a buck, and Kevin comes up to me and he's like, "Go grab your rifle." I'm like, "No, I'm not grabbing my rifle. Doug has a tag, and he hasn't filled it yet." I'm like, "No, that's Doug's. That's his buck." Kevin's like, "Go grab your rifle." I'm not grabbing my rifle, Kevin. That's Doug's. He's like, "Well, then go tell Doug to grab his rifle." So I go up, I like get up to Doug, I'm like, "Go get your rifle. Like, I'll keep an eye." And he's like, "No, it's yours, man. Take it." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, go get your rifle." So now I'm like reluctantly going back to get my rifle. Get my rifle. At this point, everyone's moved to the far side of the knob.
Yeah, you've got 8 guys, 8 tripods, 2 or 3 BTXs. Like, I don't think this was the most observed deer
Ever
in the state. Like, and it had like everyone had 14s and binos on this thing, and it wasn't far. It was like 400 yards from where we were sitting. So that was part of our urgency, because it was down low, it was moving, and I'm like, we're a lot of guy up here. We're louder than we think. We need to like act quick before this doesn't give us this opportunity.
Yep.
And I'm over here with Peter, and he's being Mr. Polite guy, and Doug's being Mr. Gracious. Like, "No, man, it's you." And I'm just like, "You guys need to decide, and someone needs to, shoot this deer."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get my rifle. I get set up. I'm able to get prone, but I was downhill. So I'm on my rifle, and my neck's crinked up, and like I'm looking here, but like Kevin said, he had kind of gone into this little ravine area, so we can't see him. And I'm just sitting on my rifle, trying to keep my eye on the location because I can't see him, but like it's uncomfortable. And we're all waiting, and I'm sitting there for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and I keep putting my head down, trying to rest and get back up. And I don't know who said it, but someone said, "You should move." And there was a ridge on the right side of it that we could go around, climb up, and then look down. One, would be a closer shot, and 2, unless he moved, like we're not going to be able to take the shot from here. So I pick up my rifle, grab some of my things, and me and Ben take off. And we run down the hill, hop some barbed wire, like go over the top, and we make our way up. And then halfway up that ridge, you catch up to us, because I think at that point it had moved a little bit.
Yeah, we had all watched. We were all watching it. It had moved, and I'm like, the last time they saw it was not where it is, so they're going to have a tough time relocating it. So I figured I'm going to go there and kind of help them relocate it. And I think in hindsight, it was the best thing anyways, because for your nerves, to shoot it with a crowd of 8 guys right behind you is probably a little bit more stress than you needed at the time. So yeah, I brought some extra shooting bags and some extra things that could be helpful, and just caught up with you guys. And
Yeah, so we get up there, and again, the first one was textbook. Like, I wasn't nervous. Everything kind of happened. This one, already my heart's pounding. Like, it's not my buck. Doug found it, so he's not filling a tag so that I can have a chance to. I got down, we're moving again, and now we're right on this ridge, at like close to last light, and if we climb over, like we are gonna get skylined. And so I have to army crawl the last 20 yards of it, get set up. We get into a spot where we can see, and mind you, like it's not pretty country. Like crawling through that stuff is not fun.
Rough, yeah.
But I get set up on the rifle. We're looking down, and then we see the buck.
Yeah.
I get everything set up. I think we ranged him at like 320, and like we're good to go. He's quartering away. I have him in my crosshairs. He turns broadside. I'm right on him. I pull the trigger, and my safety's on because when we left, I just picked up my rifle, put my safety on because I'm running down the hill, and through the run, the climb, the crawling, it completely just escaped me to turn the safety off. But it worked out. I take the safety off, get back in.
It was actually the best scenario because I was sitting next to Peter while he's prone, and I was just trying to tell him what was helpful. Just breathe, don't pull the trigger hard, just squeeze it nice and gently until it goes off. And right after I said that was when you pulled it, and luckily the safety was on, but I saw you.
I jerked
it and flinch, and so it was like good. I was like, okay, don't do that. Do less.
Do less. Do less.
You felt that. Now do like 80% less.
Yes. So then I'm already nervous, like I said.
Yeah.
8 people watching you.
8 people. Yeah, I know.
Now,
I mean,
now
there's
they're
only
like
they're at least they're far away.
They're 100 yards away,
yeah.
still looking at deer.
But
yeah.
Ben and Kevin are near me. I'm like, oh, did I just blow it? I look back. He's still there. Buck's still there, but he's quartering away again, and I'm just sitting on him. He turns broadside one more time, and right before I'm about to pull the trigger, you just hear zzz, 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 zzz. And it was my Garmin watch giving me like a heart attack warning because my heart rate was so high.
But we didn't know that at first.
We had no idea what it was.
Yeah, I'm laying, so Peter's prone. I didn't have binos. Ben was behind me with binos on the tripod, so I just laid down and I'm holding like this because he's got a big old muzzle brake. And all of a sudden I hear that, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I see Peter because he's like, in a prone position, so he's got his hand under here at the back, and I see his watch is buzzing and going red, just flashing red, and I've never seen a watch do that. And so I'm like, what is that? And it says like heart attack, heart attack, heart attack. And I'm like, and I see Peter's face, and his eyes are big, and he's like kind of panicking. And I just reach in there and I touch a button, and I could hear your breath change. It was like it went from a to. It was like it was so. I'm like, you're right. Your watch is right.
Yes.
Your watch is very right.
Yeah, but I didn't want to. I saw it and I didn't want to let up because I had a good hold.
No, it was
I was locked in, and luckily Kevin was able to reach through and get it. Luckily the buck stayed right there. I took a deep breath, took the shot, and Ben had it on binos, and he's like, I think he fell maybe a foot from where I shot him.
Just dropped him where he stood.
Yeah, it was a perfect shot.
Yeah.
And I remember right after the shot, I could hear the other guys from 100 yards away, like hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
And then like obviously like we're high-fiving, and like finally my heart rate starts to like go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember like super excited, but you guys went back to go grab a couple more things, and I got to sit there kind of by myself in the moment. And I was just thinking about all of it and like how crazy it was and coming down from that crazy heart rate. Because it was so different between everybody being there and watching, the pressure of that, the pressure of it being Doug's buck, then the hike through the stock, the crawl, the watch, the safety. By the end of it, it was like, I was just like, man, that was a lot that happened. Yeah. Luckily, it all ended in a perfect shot.
Yeah.
But it was like, I was just sitting there and I was like, man, I remember thinking like the only thing was like, I was super grateful because like you put in a bunch of time, Ben put in a bunch of time, everyone was helping me get there. And then at the end, Doug gives me his buck. And I'm like, I got to do all of this because of my job and because of the people I work with. And I was like, this is really freaking cool. And then you guys came back. Like by then I was like, all right, I'm out of my feels. Like I'm ready to go do this. We had to hike a little bit to go get them.
Wasn't too bad.
It
was actually a lot steeper and deeper country than we thought.
Yeah.
It's crazy how in that
It wasn't far away.
You know, you look at, like, when you're sitting on top of these ridges and they all come like this, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I can close to see the bottom. But when you go hike them, there's like another 30 or 40% deeper that it goes, which is like clearly why these deer can stay pretty hidden and out of sight from people when it gets hot for so long, because it was deep, really deep, crevasses there.
Yeah, so we hiked up there, found the spot, and he was maybe 2 yards away.
Yeah.
And we got to work because, I mean, the sun was going down. By the time we got everything on my pack, it was pitch black.
Yeah.
But threw everything on my pack and we hiked back in the darkness. Luckily, we had enough headlamps.
Yeah.
And so my first experience, like, hiking with real weight on my pack was in the dark through some pretty good terrain, but it was awesome. Like, I loved feeling all of it. It was a blast. And then to get up back to the ridge where everyone was still waiting was awesome. Because, like, it was like finishing a marathon race. Like, everyone's just waiting for you to, like, congratulate you. So, like, I get to the top. Yeah, like, hugs, high fives, fist bumps, checking it out, like, checking out the buck, like, congrats. And just kind of, like, everyone knows it's my first buck. So everyone's asking questions, like, how was it? Like, good shot, blah, blah, blah. Because they were all watching, too. And, I mean, that buck just, he got hit.
Oh, yeah. There was no mistaking it. He had a freaking, I mean, he shot with a 6.8 Western.
Yeah.
It's like 175 grain bullet, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 165, 175.
It was 175.
Which is obviously
a lot of
plenty for deer. But even still, like, that thing just put a freaking channel through him that you could see through. It was pretty wicked.
But yeah, I know Pat, like, saw it through his binos, and I was like, yep, we knew right away. There was no question about that one. But yeah, then we loaded up, we went back, and I mean, for me, it was such a new experience. Like I said, I grew up in the city. Like, I didn't do anything like that. I would never, like, my family was never against it or anything. Like, just, we didn't know anything about it. And going out and doing it, instantly addicted.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why people want to do it all the time. Yeah, it's a feeling that you don't get anywhere else.
That's for sure.
Like, it honestly makes, like, for me, it makes me respect what I'm eating even more. Like, having to work for it and understanding that and, like, seeing that whole process, and even from the, like, learning how to dress the animal in the field, because that was my first time doing that too. Like, it was all experiences that I had never done anything close to it. But it was like, so I do remember going into all of that. I wasn't nervous about doing it. I was nervous about how I would feel doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it was so foreign to anything I had ever done.
I remember you saying there afterwards that you were like you're sitting in the deer and everything. You were like, man, this is so surreal. Which is a very, I mean, yeah, I think that's probably the perfect word for it. When you've spent years working around this lifestyle, thinking about it, building up for it, you've built a lot of, like, you've probably imagined it in your mind how many times, like, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be like this? Like, you just can't help it. So it would feel surreal once you're actually there in that moment. Yeah. Yeah,
that is a interesting way to put it, because I've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
Between the articles and the website stuff and everything that we've ever done, I've seen probably as much as a lot of people that are in the field, a lot more than me. But to actually do it and to feel it and to be a part of it, especially with all of you guys, was super cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I made sure that Doug knew how grateful I was, because that wouldn't have happened had he not given up his buck, because we were leaving the next day. And, like, I had to get back to work, I had to get back to the family, so it was my last chance, and he gave up his buck, and it all worked out, and gave us one hell of a story.
You'll just have to Find a buck. For
Now,
him.
I told him I owe him a buck. So
Yeah,
his
nice.
next hunt, I have to go and
Yeah,
find him a bigger buck.
yeah, that's how it goes.
I feel like camp that night was pretty awesome.
It was fun.
It was. Yeah. I mean, all the nights were fun. But it was.
Yeah, we had 3 deer killed that day.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan and Ped and then Peter. So
Yeah.
we were feeling. I mean, we all kind of imagined, oh man, we're gonna go back to camp and drink some beer and whiskey and you know have a good old time and sit by the campfire. But we were pretty freaking whooped.
Yeah,
And
we
then
were
we had
tired.
we had some meat to take care of and we had stuff to do. So we still had a good time, but you know, probably not as grandiose as we were imagining it.
Yeah. But I know, I mean, it was, I remember we came across a couple different groups and it sounded like it was a pretty rough hunt for
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
was.
people. When we said that we had 4 deer in camp, there
Mhm.
were people who were like, really? But I mean, it just shows like they're like I said, you guys have been doing this a long time. And I know that I'm spoiled for my first hunt to go out with you guys, with the equipment we had, with everything. It's probably not your prototypical first hunt ever. It wasn't the story of like wearing jeans with a
No.
really old rifle and some cheap Walmart binos. Like we had some good stuff.
But you know, all that gear aside, you still have to you know put in the effort and
Yeah.
be able to stay mentally present to capitalize on your opportunity when it comes, regardless of the gear you've got.
True.
You know, like none of that stuff gets it done for you. I mean, case in point, the first year, right?
Yeah.
Like all our gear and stuff didn't matter at that point. You know, it was, but you didn't get down on yourself enough, and you stayed present enough, and you know, you toughed it out for the next day and a half of hunting.
Yeah.
And then when the moment was there, you were able to get it done, which, you know, that's what matters is what's between the ears.
Yep.
I think that's what's sometimes forgotten or lost on some people is you get too worked up on like the gear, which was kind of like, you know, like in the beginning, like before the hunt happened, when you're prepping. I remember you and I and Ben probably had a lot of conversations. You were asking us, oh, do I need this? What do I need? Do I need
Yeah.
this and this? You were very focused on the gear, right? And, you know, yeah, there's certain things that definitely are difference makers out there, but you know, after you've gone through it once or twice or 3 times, you get to a point where you kind of can feel a little bit more like, you know, I'll get this done no matter what. Like
Yeah.
if I know how to do it, you know, give me the bare essentials and I'll be able to get it done. And I think that's the goal, you know,
Mhm.
is like to not feel so reliant on the equipment and the external factors
Yeah.
that play a part in your success. But if you're able to know how to get it done, you know, you've got a chance.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Just got to do more now.
Yeah, 2026.
He's addicted.
I'm
Yeah.
addicted. I'm
Yeah.
addicted.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, not only with us, but with everybody out there. I wanted to do a quick little thing as somebody who just did their first hunt, for maybe somebody who isn't out there or is out there who hasn't done their first hunt, or somebody who has done a lot of hunts who's just looking for some entertainment to hear from somebody who has. We're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, first question. Describe your hunt in 1 word.
Surreal. We already covered that one.
Nice. That's a good
We
word.
got that one. Yeah, for me, surreal for sure.
What's one thing hunting taught you that surprised you?
Oof.
He's like, nothing. I didn't really.
Yeah, no, I knew everything already.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think actually being out there and doing it, realizing how hard it actually is. I think, especially for me and my background, so I didn't grow up doing this, but like I've been working here for almost 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I see all these episodes of Western Hunter and read all these articles and all these success stories. And as much as they want to say how hard it is or how well written the article is, it always seems like, yeah, you go out there, you find a deer, you shoot the deer, you bring the deer home, and
Yeah.
that's how it works. And being out there, I remember just thinking like, I can't imagine having to like actually survive like this. Like, whether or not I'm successful on this trip, like I still get to go home and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be okay. And then, but being out there, I was like, if my family was dependent on me doing this, and there was that much pressure. It's like, this is crazy. Like this, it's
tough.
It's hard. Like you can go all day and not see a single animal, and it's like, well, I guess we're not eating today. Like,
Yeah.
If that was the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember like thinking that and like just going through that in my head while I was out there. Just it's a lot tougher if like without ever doing it, not knowing. Yeah, I had a new perspective of it.
One of the simple like things, examples of that is like when I was looking at that area that we were going to hunt on the map before we ever got there and did it. And even when we were sitting in camp and I'm looking up in the, how we're going to probably get up there and kind of mapping out how we're going to hike up there. I'm like, it'll take us maybe 15, 20 minutes to go up this ridge, cut across that bench, go up here. And then you start getting up there and you neglect to see all of the cat claw that's up there, all of the other cactus, all of the rock faces that we're going to have to navigate to get through. So just even traversing a lot of the country can be far more of an undertaking than it like appears.
Yeah.
From a distance.
Yeah, you just have to get out there and experience it
Yeah.
to fully understand what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Makes me think of whatever happened to that guy with the gun in his lap.
Oh, I know. You know what? I
Wish
hope
I
that
could
guy
do
killed
this.
the biggest deer in the whole year.
Probably. He probably did. He probably did.
That kid had the patience and he sat there for another day or two. I guarantee he killed something.
Oh, man.
That's the guy who always does it.
Next question. What moment will you never forget? Just one, if there's just one.
It's between the successful shot, but I honestly think it was climbing up the ridge at the end with everybody at the top. Like it's pitch black, and when we walked up there, like no one had their headlamps on, but once we got to the top, everyone turned their lights back on, and it was, just a bunch of good friends, all high-fiving, like fist bumps, beers getting poured. Like that was such a cool experience. It was awesome to get the deer, or the buck, but to do that with like 8 other guys that you respect a whole lot, that like I'll never forget that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Last question. What would you tell your former non-hunter self about hunting?
Ooh, to just go do it. I put it off for so long, like I said earlier, because I wanted to feel more comfortable and I wanted to learn, but I mean, I think that's the case with a lot of things. Like, you're not going to learn until you do it.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, you don't have to know everything. And especially for me, like I had so much help. If year one, I would have said I wanted to go on a hunt, like you guys would have taken care of me and we would have figured it out. So all I did was miss out on 8 years of potential hunts, and I could have had more tags. But honestly, it all worked out. I don't think the story could have gone any better. So
No, I agree. That was a ton of fun, and probably even not to do it justice, just from the story you've told, is just like I thought about it. I was like, it was so perfect the way it happened. Like even down to the unfortunate miss on that first deer. I'm like, that just made that last opportunity even better. It was so freaking cool the way that happened. It was really, really cool. It was so much fun, and it was awesome to experience all that with you.
Had I been successful on that first buck, it would have been like all the articles and TV shows. And that would have been my perspective of like, yep, you go out, you find a buck, make the shot, and you're done.
Yeah.
That would have been my only experience.
Ben and I were talking about that a little bit. I think that's the thing, is like you take a shot at that far at a deer, especially a coos deer, which isn't a big target. A lot of things, and I remember we were kind of trying to tell you, like a lot of things got to go right, and we're like, don't beat yourself up. It's not like you missed like by a mile. You did make a good shot. It just, some other things happen. It's just sometimes the way it goes. I think a lot of people on Instagram, like you said, when you're reading articles and you're on social media, all you see is the highlight reels, right? Everyone's success. Oh, I can shoot 1,000 yards, or I shoot shoot all this stuff, all this success, and it starts to paint this picture of like formulaic, right? Like, well, if I do this, and this, if I have this gear, if I put myself there, I will get a deer. And that is just not the way it is. It's not reality.
Yeah.
So it was actually, you know, in a weird, sick way, not in the moment, but I was kind of glad that happened, that you could feel that, like, oh, that kind of gut punch. I mean, it's a gut punch because it makes the higher even higher.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm glad it happened the way it did.
Yeah.
I couldn't have painted a better picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Guys, this has been the Keep Up Show. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. We're going to have tons more episodes with guests on like this. We're going to talk about tons more other stuff, but our priority is talking about things that you care about. So please comment below with anything that you want us to go over, and we'll address it on the show. I'm your host, Ethan Springston. My co-host, Kevin Guillen. This is Peter Margaritis. Keep Up Show out.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash! Like, subscribe.
Yeah, that was fun.